In medicine today, we have a ton of treatment options. I mean, more than ever before. But, more choice isn't always better. How does a doctor figure out which treatment is actually the best when there are dozens to choose from? Well, today we're going to dive into a really powerful statistical tool that helps cut through all that noise to find the answer. So let's put you in the doctor's shoes for a second. A patient walks in, they have glaucoma. You know there are about 15 different meds you could prescribe. Here's the catch. There's no single giant clinical trial that's ever compared all 15 of them head to head. So you might have one study that compares drug A to a placebo, and another that compares drug B to that same placebo, but you have nothing directly comparing A to B. It's this kind of puzzle that leaves everyone asking, with all this research, why is it so hard to get a straight answer? All right, so here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to piece this whole thing together. We'll start with what this powerful technique, called network meta-analysis, or NMA, actually is. Then we'll walk through how one is built, step by step. We'll see how it turns really complex data into visuals that actually make sense, and, of course, how to read the results. And, this is super important, we'll finish up by looking at why this amazing tool has to be handled with some serious care. Okay, so what is this thing? This tool that can solve our big clinical puzzle? It's called a network meta-analysis. And to really get why it's such a game changer, we need to understand what makes it tick. So you've probably heard of a regular meta-analysis, right? It's a great way to pool together a bunch of studies that compare two things directly, like treatment A versus treatment B. But in NMA, this is where things get really cool. It takes a huge leap forward. It doesn't just look at direct comparisons, it combines all the available evidence, both direct and indirect, to compare lots of treatments all at once in a single analysis. It basically creates a whole web, or a network, of all the evidence out there. Let's start with the most straightforward piece of the puzzle, direct evidence. This is the stuff that comes from those gold standard randomized controlled trials, where researchers test one treatment directly against another. It's solid, reliable, and it forms the bedrock of our evidence network. Okay, now for the clever part. This is where the magic really happens. And MA also uses what's called indirect evidence, and this is the key. Let's say we have studies comparing drug A to a placebo, and we have other studies comparing drug B to that same placebo. NMA can use the placebo as a common link, like a bridge, to statistically figure out how drug A stacks up against drug B, even if they've never been tested against each other in the same room. It's a brilliant way to fill in the missing pieces of the puzzle. So how do you actually build one of these things? It's not just statistical wizardry, I promise. It's a really rigorous, systematic process. Think of it like an architect following a detailed blueprint to build a solid, trustworthy house of evidence. It all starts with a super clear question. Then, after a massive search to find every relevant study, the researchers get to a really critical step, pulling out the data. And they have to pay super close attention to something called effect modifiers. Things like the average age of patients in a trial or how severe their disease was. Why? Because those factors could change how well a treatment works. Only after checking all their assumptions do they finally run the fancy statistical models. And then they interpret the results very, very carefully. Okay, now for one of the coolest parts about NMA, how it makes all this complicated data easy to understand. It's all about turning massive spreadsheets of numbers into a clear visual story that you can see at a glance. Before we can find the best route, we have to see the whole map, right? And boom, here it is. This is the network graph for our glaucoma question. What I love about this is how it tells you so much without a single number. Each dot, or node, is a different drug. The lines connecting them, the edges, are the actual head-to-head trials. And check this out. The thicker the line, the more studies have made that comparison. The bigger the dot, the more patients have been studied using that drug. You can see right away that timolol, that big yellow dot in the middle, has been compared to almost everything. It's the central hub of this whole evidence network. All right, so we've got our map. Now, how do we use it to actually find our destination? The most effective treatment. So with 15 different treatments, that means there are 105 possible one-on-one comparisons you could make. 105! How on earth do you show all that information without it being a total mess? Well, the answer is something called a league table. I know, this looks like a giant, scary spreadsheet, but it's actually really simple. You've got all the drugs listed across the top and down the side. To compare any two, you just find where their row and column intersect. So, for example, find aproclonidine in the second row, and then follow it over to the first column, which is placebo. That number, 2.52, That tells us that aproclonidine is estimated to lower eye pressure by 2.52 millimeters of mercury more than the placebo does. Every single possible comparison is right here in one table. Pretty neat. But let's be real. What doctors and patients really want to know is, which one's number one? Which one is the best? Well, NMA can help answer that too, by calculating the probability that each treatment is the best or second best, and so on. And this chart shows us exactly that. Take a look at the far right, up in the top rust. See that huge red bar? That tells us it has a massive 95.3% chance of being the single most effective treatment in this entire network. And on the flip side, look at placebo. It has pretty much a 100% chance of being ranked dead last, which is, exactly what you'd expect. But just being the most likely to be number one doesn't tell the whole story. What if another drug is almost always number 2 or number 3? So there's a smarter, more sophisticated way to look at ranking called SUCRA. Okay, SUCRA stands for Surface Under the Cumulative Ranking Curve. Just forget the complicated name for a second. All you need to know is that it gives each drug a score from 0 to 100 that summarizes its overall ranking. A score of 100% means it's almost definitely the best. 0% means it's the worst. It's just a more complete picture than only looking at the number one spot. And as you can see here, our top 3 performers are clearly bimatoprost, latanoprost, and travoprost, with these incredible SUCRA scores near 100%, 87%, and 86%. This gives us a much better sense of that top tier of treatments. Now, hold on. Before we get too carried away, we have to talk about the fine print. Because the entire power of NMA rests on a few absolutely critical assumptions. And if those assumptions aren't met, the results can be misleading. The single most important assumption is called transitivity. Just think of it as the apples to apples rule. For that indirect comparison to work, remember our A versus C and B versus C example, we have to be able to assume that the patients in the A versus C studies are basically the same as the patients in the B versus C studies. If, say, the A versus C trials only included older patients and the B versus C trials only included younger patients, well then our indirect comparison is totally useless. You'd be comparing apples to oranges and the results would be junk. So how do we know if we're breaking that rule? Well, the statistical alarm bell is something called inconsistency. This is what happens when the direct evidence from the actual A versus B trials tells a different story from the indirect evidence we calculated through our A versus C versus B loop. If those two answers don't match up, it's a huge red flag that something is wrong in the network, and the researchers need to figure out why. So let's pull this all together. Network meta-analysis is an incredibly powerful way to see the entire landscape of evidence all at once. It uses these really clever visualizations to bring clarity to a very complex topic. But, and this is a big but, its conclusions are only as good as the studies it's based on, and that all-important apples-to-apples assumption has to hold up. So while the rankings are super helpful, they're really just the starting point for a bigger conversation about what's right for an individual patient. As the number of treatments keeps exploding, our web of evidence is only going to get more tangled and complex. That means tools like NMA, which can pull it all together into one coherent picture, are going to become absolutely essential. So that leaves me with one final thought for you. As we get better at seeing this full network of evidence, how is that going to change the future of healthcare decisions for you and your family?